You know, life is about balance. And when it's out of balance, it's like the seesaw. Someone's really high, someone's really low, and usually neither one's happy. When it's level, uh, they might not be happy, but they're not miserable. They can sit like that, they can talk with it being level. When it's high, when it's low, one is yelling at the other, do this, do that, so I can come down, or do this, do that, so I can go up. And when you're in a level, now this is a metaphor, but when you're level, there's no competition between going high and low. And that's kind of like Republican, Democrat, it's um, straight, gay, um, whatever you want to, whatever you have two sides. We're in a bi world, left, right, black, white, red, blue. Um, there's two teams on most sports. Uh, So it's a bi, and then bipolar is a big thing in this world. People go from being crazy to sleeping all day. You know, so it's just this is the world we live in, and I'm bi. I wear girls' clothes. Um, I have sex with men. I have sex with women, uh, and I have problems with both. You know, and I don't have a girlfriend, and I don't have a boyfriend, and I don't care for either. Um, you know, and that's a problem. It's not good. But the way my life is, uh, it just doesn't allow for a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and I'm okay with that. It's not my problem. I'm not in great desire for a relationship, and I have no friends because most people they're indoctrinated. They're slaves, and slaves don't want to hang out with free people, and free people don't want to hang out with slaves because they see the dichotomy. They see the difference, and it's hard to deal with. Uh, you know, uh, I just have a different attitude towards life. You know, uh, I don't know, but it brings balance in my life. And I think whether you're male or female, you you have certain beliefs about the opposite sex that if you're straight, you probably deny your feelings. If you're gay, you probably deny your feelings about the opposite sex. Um, and if you're straight, you deny your feelings about the same sex. And it's a lot of denial going on. The truth isn't being dealt with. And I try to live in the world of truth. And you know, uh, I try to have an open mind. You know, and uh, it's not simple. Balance, like keeping that seesaw balance is it goes high, it goes low. It might not go all the way up, it might not go all the way down, but it goes a little high, a little low, and you're always coming back to balance. And I know the metaphor only works for a certain point, but um, it's just you know too much. I don't like. I know I talk a lot about politics, and politics seems to be the run of the mill thing to talk about. In the old days, they didn't talk about politics as much as they talk about it now. Uh, the newspapers, they were the precursors to it becoming an everyday thing, just like your Fox News and your CNN. It's all they talk about is political, 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 and it's just being shoved down our throat. And it's becoming really out of balance. Too much Democrat is no good, too much Republican is no good. You need balance, you know. And I saw a meme on I don't know where it was, X, I guess. I don't know, but it said that diapers and politicians need to be changed regularly for the same reason, because they become full of shit. And you know, it's true. It's funny, but it's true. And you know, they're always trying to get reelected, and they have to lie to do that. You know, and with Citizens United, where we entered the billionaires into paying for campaign funds and the super funds, super PACs. Uh, Now we can't do away with it because the cost of commercials, the cost of uh, print ads and mailings, and so you get that mailing in the mail, the junk mail in the mail that has a picture of somebody you never met before and you're going to vote for. It costs a lot of money, and that's why they need the super PACs, and billionaires support those super PACs, and that's why we have an oligarchy government, not a not a democratic government. And it's proof by if you look at the inauguration, who was at the inauguration? All the billionaires, because they paid that inauguration. And they always say take money out of politics, and if you did that, you wouldn't have politics. Uh, so it's like take money out of law. If you took all the lawyers and said they're not going to make any money, you wouldn't have any lawyers and stuff like that. And it wouldn't. You think that might be a good thing, but not for the defendant. If the defendant couldn't get a lawyer, it'd be a bad thing. And it's just. And when you get a free lawyer, let me tell you, you get what you pay for. You don't want a free lawyer. Uh, they're the worst lawyers on the planet. And they might be a good lawyer, but they handle your case. If they get handed your case and they have to do it for free, believe me, they treat it like it's a free case, and you don't want that. So, but the other side is you have to pay a lot of money for to pay for a lawyer if you don't get a free lawyer, and that's how they get you to take. That's why innocent people plead guilty because they can't afford the legal bill, so they have to take the plea, and they can't afford to go to trial because it costs too much money. So the whole legal system is out of balance, and the illusion is that it's not. Just like the illusion is that the government's not out of balance, but it is. You know, and it's like the illusion that the guy on the high on the seesaw is not in trouble because if the guy on the bottom steps away, boom, it crashes to the floor and it hurts. Um, the illusion is that the guy on the bottom is not going to walk away. But to stay in the middle is, it gets boring. I mean, the highs and the lows are what we're used to in the CNN and Fox world. And we're used to shock TV. Everything's breaking news. Everything's breaking news. And it's just and some of the things that they put in breaking news is so stupid. It's not breaking news, and they run breaking news all day long, like it was breaking news 5 hours ago. It's not breaking news anymore. And it's like it's just that sells. I guess when it's breaking news, the advertising dollars go up. You have to pay more for your product to be on that commercial at that time. So it brings the dollars up, and that's the motivation. Which again, if you take money out of TV, you have no TV. You took the money out of music, which really happened, and music is suffering for it. You know, uh, it's just radio is not there. There's no radio anymore, so it's very hard to break out with a new song. Back in the day, they would push it on the radio stations, and it would catch on, and people would start singing it, and they would start buying the singles or the albums, and go to the concerts, and that whole system is gone with YouTube and stuff. And uh, I think YouTube tries. That's why sometimes you get a song when you play YouTube. You get a song you didn't ask for, and you're like, where'd this come from? I think that's YouTube trying to inject a new song to try to get you to listen to it and make it popular. And they get paid to do that. Don't think they don't. And it's just look. You know, if if life was so easy, it'd be boring. And if it was boring, we'd be in trouble because bored people do some horrible things. Look what Trump does when he's bored. He starts a war. You know, so boring is bad. You know, I'm never bored. I'm never bored. The feeling of boredom never comes to me. Um, I guess I should never say never, but um, when it does, it's like usually because I'm trying to go to sleep or something, and I'm like, um, or I'm in between doing one thing or another, you know, and that's and boredom is good in that sense because it motivates you to get out of boredom, But a lot of people stay in it, they stay in it for a long time, and I believe me, I haven't worked in 30 years, so I know what boredom's about, But I've learned to get on the other side of it, and a lot of people that work uh, all the time, they find the weekends boring, because they don't have any work to do. They don't have to do any work, and that boredom time is good, And it's really not boredom. It's just learning to just be. Like if you watch my videos on just be, uh, just be. Just that's why I'm not bored because when I'm in that position where I have nothing going on, um, I just be, and things come to me, and ideas come to me, and a lot of the ideas I'm talking about now came to me from just being. And you have to be at peace with your mind and peace with your soul, and you'll be okay. And don't be in fear. I realize some people have a reason to be in fear. They live in a bad neighborhood, they have a bad boyfriend, or they have a bad girlfriend, or their kids are in a lot of trouble all the time, so they constantly updating, checking their phone, stuff like that, and it feeds itself, because you'll contact your son, are you okay? And he'll say yes, and then you'll contact an hour later, you okay? And you kind of like, I don't know if you're pushing him to do something bad, or uh, it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy turns out to be in the end, and you don't want that. I mean, the Jews are so afraid of another Holocaust, and they're on the verge of bringing on another one out of their own doing. And I don't believe there was a Holocaust in the sense of what we are told happened during the quote unquote Holocaust, you know. But and I don't want to get into that. But I'm not trying to sell you one way or the other. It's just my own personal belief. But and I'm not saying Jewish people didn't die during the war. Of course they did. Uh, but I don't think the number is right. 6 million. I don't think that's right. I don't think the reasons why it happened are so clear. But I do believe it can happen again. If it did happen, it can happen again, and they're gonna bring it about themselves. I always said, who's gonna hurt the Jews the most, and it's the Jews. So you know, and that's what's going on. And again, it's out of balance. Out of balance. They're trying to. It's like a baby holding on to a. You know, I had a baby once. I don't know, about 3 years old, and we let him hold a kitten, and it was a big mistake. He held the kitten so tight that he killed it. He killed the kitten, 3 years old, and the kitten didn't die right away, but he caused internal bleeding, and a few hours later, the kitten was dead. So, out of bounds again. Yeah. Don't be out of bounds. Be in balance, because that's the way to live.